All right, final speaker, and then we have got lunch. And I know Cody has a flight to catch. She is going to Hawaii for another conference, and I was so lucky to get this to squeeze and fit into her life. I met Codi Shull through her sister, who is it's just unbelievable realtor. And she's like, my sister is a mortgage lender. I'm like, no way. And you guys are how many years apart? 13 years apart. Me and my sister are 13 years apart. And I meet Codi just one time on a FaceTime. And I was like, oh, this chick has got the it factor. She is bold. She is fearless. She's also in her 20s. And let me tell you guys, there's only 2% of loan officers, 2% are in their 20s, 11% are in their 30s. Okay. Only 13% of people in our industry are under 40 years old. So for those of you that want to grow a team or you're in that demographic, you have a competitive advantage and you need to step into that and utilize it. Some of you, Caitlin, were talking about, well, I'm only 26. Fuck yeah, you're 26. That's exciting. You have 26-year-old energy and no one looks like you out in the market because we're all 55, right? 66% of people in our industry are over 50. It's true. So I love Codi's rawness, her fierceness. She's in a small market. She has number one market share in her small market. And I always ask, like, what is your secret sauce? What do you do? And what I knew about Codi, just like knowing about Deb, she's an Enneagram 7. She is about fun and things being exciting. She doesn't want to do boring shit. She's got to keep it real all the time. Well, being a good coaching student means that you have rituals and habits and routines and you follow a plan. And typically, Enneagram 7s, I'm married to one, don't really like that. It feels kind of restrictive, kind of feels like they're trapped and it's really boring. But yet you see somebody who does big volume. And I say, so tell me about your calendar. And she goes, you know what? The first thing I had to do as a coaching student was surrender to my calendar. And it completely changed my life. I committed to the calendar, what we're going to talk about when by noon. I hired an assistant and they own my calendar and book it, and I just show up. For some of you, that's the only thing you need to change is that. You've got the charisma, you've got the conversations, you've got the presentations, but you don't freaking live by your calendar. You don't call 10 people on the drive to work. So I want you to know that I'm not even having Codi talk about time management, but as you see her and you go, well, if she can do it, if she can get the mindset of surrendering to her calendar with her personality, then I need to just do it. Codi is somebody that has become just really well known in her community, and I wanted her to talk about how do you dominate market share. And here is Codi Shull.
Thank you, Shay. Man, I am so honored to be here. Do you guys ever see someone doing something like if they can do it, I can do it, right? So I have never ever thought that about public speaking. So we're gonna get through this together, but I'm super honored to share a little bit of my story. So I started when I was 18, just happened to fall into the business and started on the back end for in processing. And in 2018, the end of 18, they realigned. I ended up without a job. I was, an hourly position, and I made the jump to sales. But I was at a bank. Anybody come from bank, work at bank? We're my bank loan officers, where you are fed the leads. And I got in the beginning of 19, right? So it's super easy. You picked up the phone. That's all you had to do to close. So 2020, I closed 48 million at a bank. And then I made the jump in 21 to private mortgage bank, completely self-sourced. And that was still pretty much Disneyland. Can we agree on that? 21 was a great year. 22, I hired my mom. And in this shift, guys, I went through a real struggle. I got divorced and then I got pregnant. So at one point my intro was, hi, I'm Codi. I'm divorced and pregnant. Nice to meet you. And meanwhile, I'm living this all in a small town, a very Christian value-oriented town where I'm like, this looks great. And then it became, I'm divorced, I'm pregnant, and I'm a single mom. And I'm also responsible for my mom's salary in a crashing market. And so this was, honestly, it was poor me. That was my mentality. How many of you guys are caught in the little bit of feeling sorry for yourself? Okay. So beginning of 23, I think I closed 3 loans. And like Josh was saying, I didn't have the luxury of not producing. I didn't have the luxury of walking away. I didn't have a partner whose income I could count on. And I said, fuck it. Fuck it. I'm done. There's nothing I have to lose. And I started to brand myself bigger than I actually was. So we created the Codi Scholl Team. The team is me, my mom, and my assistant. But we branded everything the Codi Shull Team. I branded my truck. I'm known for a small town. Everybody knows what you drive. I don't know if you guys can relate to that. But I drive a big F-350 red truck. So I put the Codi Shull Team on the truck. And we just started to play much bigger than we were. And I mean, my colleagues were like, she closed 3 loans. She's Codi Shull Team. We put it on the truck. Why would she do that? You know, like, well, I didn't have anything to lose, right? So we just started to play bigger. We did believe that we were confident. How many of you are confident in your ability? I'm a great loan officer and I know it, right? I just need everybody else to know it too. So that's how we started to show up. And there's a few things, tactics that I want to share with you of what we actually did to kind of overcome just the drop. So 2023, I'm so proud of, and my volume is not anything to write home about, but what I am super proud of is our market share. So I have our office sits in a town of 19,000 people. Okay, pretty small town. We were number 1 in Lebanon. I'm from Lebanon, Oregon, and we closed 2.8 times the volume that number 2 did in 2023. Thank you. Thank you. And it, you know, some days I'm like, how did we do it? Well, we just started showing up like we were big and bad. And eventually it's a fake it till you make it, probably concept. We sit in a county, our county, overall county, lots of little towns kind of surrounding us, 130,000 people. And we finished with 6% market share, which I'm so proud of and just grateful. And I think something I didn't know we could do. So that was the end of 23. And each year since 2022, we've grown, right? We're on track to, 2023, we outpaced 22. We're on track to, you know, beat 23 this, you know, year date. So if I could just share a couple tactics of like, okay, be big in your community. If you're in a big market, draw on a map, draw a circle, say everyone's going to know me between 2nd Street and 53rd. And this isn't awkward. How do I run the slide, Shay? There to the right. So one of the things we started to do, here's just a couple tactics of what we're known for. Other way. That's the left. I know that much. We co-branded coffee cards. So what we did, we started to get like involved in the community. And we took, we went to local coffee shops and we said, hey, can we co-brand these cards? We're going to hand them out. And will you invoice us at the end of the month for whoever turns in a card? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. Like times are tough. We're hurting for business. And like, great, we'll drive business your way. What's super great about this, guys, is we're not prepaying for all the gift cards. We don't go buy $105 gift cards. On average, about 50% get turned in. And this is also something that we've kind of become known for in this small town. Anybody that sends us a referral gets a coffee card. Anybody, if you send us 2 referrals, the agents look forward to their card each month. They're like, how many coffee cards? How many coffee cards did I get from Codi? And we do it with a neighboring town also, just in case, you know, for geographical purposes, okay? The other things we did, just a couple notes here. I'm afraid to get too close to that speaker. We sponsored a race car. So every time that race car, you know, has their, in our little town, every time they race, they tag us on Facebook. Cartvertising. Who has cartvertising? Is that just where I'm from? Cartvertising, shopping carts. This is where you put your face on the shopping cart at the local grocery store. Super effective when there's one grocery store. Highly recommend that. But so some people don't always have the budget for these things. So the next tactic I'm going to go into was actually super cheap and probably the most effective. Now, guys, one thing I really wish someone would have like shaken me and told me earlier on was like, you're gonna fuck up. Just do it anyway. Do it anyway. Who gets a perfection paralysis, right? You just don't do it because it's not going to be perfect. We fucked up so many things in this calendar, but it was still really effective. Next year, we're going to do it better. And I just wish someone would have shaken me. And so one of the take homes I want for you guys, like, please just do it. Just do it and expect to fail and fail forward and do it better the next time. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. So this calendar, we took our top agents and we said, hey, for $160, you're going to get a photo shoot. You'll get the marketing material. The rest goes to pay for the calendars. Then we decided we're going to go around to all the local businesses. So I did this personally. My mom and I did this personally. We went around to all the local businesses and we said, hey, we're giving you a calendar and we're accepting donations for St. Jude's charity. It's a cancer research for children. And while I do want to help that charity, I did strategically pick that charity because our local radio station does a charity, a radiothon for them once a year. So I, 10X, 2X, whatever term, I went to the radio station and I said, hey, we're raising money for St. Jude's. Will you talk about what we're doing and who's involved? And they said, yes. And I said, will you mention every business that donates on the radio? And they said, absolutely. So here we got in the community and we went to these businesses. Some of them, even though a small town, you don't know everybody, but if they didn't know me, they knew somebody. They knew somebody on the calendar. They knew one of these agents. And so then I would triangle of trust. Oh, you know Marianne. I know Marianne. How do you know Marianne? Right. And it was really effective and it was a warm intro. And that's what I think getting big and getting bold in your community does. So one way it's really benefited us is when it's a warm lead. When an agent calls you or when you call an agent and they've already heard of you, it's no longer a cold call. So many agents, I'll call and they go, oh, I've heard of you. We haven't worked together, but I've heard of you. And this strategy is actually shifting. How many are tired of cold calling agents? You're 10 agents on Monday, 20 agents on Monday, 40, etc. What this strategy has done for us is I have agents calling me and wanting an appointment. I had an agent call, or what he DM'd on Facebook, and he said, hey, I keep hearing about you, but we haven't done a deal together. Can we have lunch? And I said, well, sure. And like Shay says, it puts you as the buyer, not the seller, right? When you have agents reaching out to you, now you're on it's just a different dynamic. So we have 2 offers out this week with that their agent that reached out. And I think part of that, and I should have mentioned this in the beginning, the shift for me was becoming myself, was not trying to be the loan officer that I thought other people should be. So I got in, and when I got into sales, I had long black hair, believe it or not, and I have a lot of tattoos. And I cut my hair and I bought a collared shirt and a blazer, and I showed up and I was like, I am the loan officer, and here is your rate and your payment. And that's fucking boring. And nobody remembered that. And so I think this shift in moving to, hey, this is me. Like Allison said, 25% of people aren't going to like you anyway. Well, fuck it. You could probably have 50% of people that don't like you and have a perfectly, lucrative business. And I think being your authentic self is where I've attracted, right? They're like, what is she doing? She's doing something different. A lot of my competitors, we try and be memorable, and I think that's part of being known in a small town or any market is being memorable. And so one of the things I've really had trouble doing was the educational videos. Anybody else just tired of making videos educational? Here's the rates this week. Here's your first time home buyer product, etc. So we just started doing, different things like this. We started having fun. We posted, we wore mustaches because we all had boy names and posted a video talking about that. And that to date is our number one, the number one thing people have asked us about. It's like the most memorable. Oh, you guys wore the mustaches. Yep, we sure did. I think we're going to do it in the parade next weekend too, if I can convince everybody. Anywho, so one of the last things I wanted to share, for brand awareness, we started a selfie contest with the truck. So we said, hey, if you see the truck, take a selfie, tag us on social and we'll send you a coffee card. Back to number one. And this has been a really fun thing. And it's kind of like a game at this point. And I think you could do this with anything. You might not want to brand your truck, because I tell you, it does get me in trouble when everybody knows where you're at, when you shouldn't be somewhere. But you could brand anything, you know, maybe you do a window art and say, hey, come take a selfie with this window art, tag us. Deb had the idea of, if it's National Cookie Day, take a selfie with a cookie and tag us. So these are just a few things that have been really, really helpful in a small market. And I think just being raw on social, you know, the other day I posted this story about, you know, being a single mom. I think that's the other thing I'm very open about. When I was, you know, divorced, pregnant, and single, I was ashamed of that. And for a while, I tried to hide it. And then what Nancy's concept of like taking that quality you don't like and seeing how it benefits you, I started to own it. Because if I owned it, then no one else could use it against me. No one could say, oh, she's got all the tattoos. It's like, yeah, well, I gave away a tattoo for Christmas. That was our big giveaway. You know, a realtor won the tattoo. We did a contest and one of my agents won the tattoo and she's stoked. So I think it's just being your authentic self. So in closing, guys, I just think that I'm super, super grateful to be here. I'm honored to have the chance to speak among legends in this room. And I think, as Allison said, I'm sitting here going, man, why do I belong up here? But I hope that something I've said resonated, you know, with some of you, to be able to make that change, whether it's to shake off the vision of what other people think you should be, or, you know, just to do something, even if you're going to mess it up. It's okay. Just do it again. There's changes that I would make to everything I've shared and that we continue to improve on. But thank you so much.
Well, I will tell you, as I'm committed to my mission and vision of having 100 loan officers on my team that do an average of 30 million. We're building a $3 billion team. I'm also creating a movement, because who else is going to do it? I think Andy said to me this morning, he's like, Shayla, there's not a lot of executives or coaches that are actually in the trenches, that are really doing it, that lead with love, that are like bringing the people together, that are saying the shit that matters, that like get it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm totally that person. But what I really care about is making sure that we have diversity and energy and, you know, people that are doing it from all different personalities and styles. Because what I want you to know more than anything is you. Be the biggest version of you. Take the tactics, but own these kinds of things. This is why I make you do the personal development. This is why I'm coaching on it. And so when I met Codi, it was like prospecting a realtor. I was like, well, now I want to be your friend. And like, is there a reason we could talk again? And then I pestered you like crazy to come to Nashville. Like, I know you're a single mom and you've got a 2-year-old, and it's really hard to fly all the way from Lebanon, Oregon to Nashville. And it's also kind of expensive, but I'm doing this thing. And I felt vulnerable chasing her down to say, like, I want you in my life. You are different. You are doing things that are bold. People need to see you. You need to step into what you've done. By the way, she closed 36 million last year in 2023 in a small market. That is badass. That's President's Club status. And she flipped 2 houses, and she like got involved with another business, and she bought a commercial building, all while being a single mom and running a team and learning how to be a leader and learning how to do a calendar. And she's been an LO and a team leader for like 2 years. Damn. So thank you for walking through the door. I might have pulled you a little through it, but you did fantastic. All right. We've got lunch over here in the corner. What time are we supposed to be back from lunch, Erin? And what time is it? So we have a whole hour for lunch. Remember what I started the day with, which is an invitation to have that conversation, to take that photo, to share contact information, to do something with someone else in this market, to challenge each other, to to ask for any resources that you've heard today. Like, what do you need? Who do you need to talk to? Let's do it. Let's make this lunch super fun and awesome. And we will be back here at 1:50 sharp. Thank you.